All right, everybody, welcome to Don't Let It Stew. Today I have a guest. I have a friend. I've worked with her before. She's a famous TV host, and she's a cookbook author as well, which is kind of awesome. Please welcome Debbie Matenopoulos, everybody.
Hi, Stu. How are you, babe?
I'm good. It's been a while. Well, what, a few months since I ran into you in that club?
Too long.
Place?
Too long, yes. You're no longer running into me on the set of television shows. Instead, we're running into each other at the bars in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, exactly. It's lovely. I mean, why not? You know, I mean, look, it made me like, you were always around then. I was like, oh, when I do my podcast, I want to have her on. So it all worked out, you know?
It did.
But I've always been a fan of yours and stuff like that. So when Home and Family, when I would go on there, because I went on there before you started hosting it. So I was going on for maybe a year or two or something like that. Remember, it had like Paige Davis, it had Christine Ferrar, and then you were next or whatever. I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. And like a quick story, like the Home and Family, what was it? Like a lifestyle show from like 10 to 12 every day or 12 to 2 or something like that.
10 to 12 every day lifestyle show. It was cooking, which obviously you were on for a million times. It was cooking. It was crafting. It was interviews with authors, celebrities. It was music. It was games. Literally, it was the most fun show I've ever done in my entire life.
It was so fun. I used to love when they would ask me to come on. I think I did it like over the years, maybe like 15 times.
Probably
like it was
more.
It was like a family when I went in. Yeah, it was great.
And then we'd keep you for the full day. You'd come in to do a segment and the producer would like, stay. And you'd be there the whole day.
They're like, hey, can you do an Irish jig while you're here? I'm like, I don't do that. It was so funny. But one particular moment, it always stands out for me when I did that show. It was on a Monday, and I always hated doing like any segments on a Monday because generally I would like my little Sunday fun day with a few friends, having a few drinks. And of course I did that. And I went to set. I was so hungover. And I remember like pulling you to the side going, can you please bring me through this segment today? Because I am dying.
I remember.
And she was like, I got you, babe. Don't worry about it. That was the great thing. Like I knew like going there that day with the hangover, I'm like, it's fine. She'll cover my ass. It's all good.
And
yeah.
You honestly, you were sweating the
bullets,
the libations from the evening before. I was like, Stuart, I think you drank tequila last night.
I know. Oh God, you're right. There's something smelling here. But we got through it, and that's why I love you, and you're so awesome.
I love you too.
Debbie and I were texting last night. So tell us what happened.
Okay. So last night I'm texting with Stuart. He's like, oh, can we do the show tomorrow? I said, of course we do the show. And I thought something is happening in my neighborhood. I said, I think Biden's here. And he said, why? I said, I think there's a fundraiser or something because there have been like 7 or 8 helicopters hovering over my house for the last, I don't know, 3-4 hours. So suddenly Stuart is, I guess, Googling to see what's going on. It sends me a link to let me know that the feds have just raided Sean P. Diddy Combs' house.
P. Diddy's
P. Diddy. And he literally lives about a block away. And I'm like, wait, what? So I'm reading what you sent me. I'm like, no. And I start Googling, going crazy. I mean, there were some serious accusations. Apparently, it wasn't just the house here in my neighborhood. It was also the one in Miami. And I'm getting chills. He fled the country.
He fled the country. I know where he's at. Aruba? Like, I have no idea where he is.
Well, supposedly somewhere in the Bahamas, supposedly, but then they can't find him there. I feel like that little jingle that you were using for Where's Kate Middleton should be Where's P. Diddy Combs. You need to change that.
That's going to be next week. But apparently the 2 sons were like arrested, handcuffed.
Well, they were detained. They took them out of the house and detained them. I mean, there were cops everywhere. I didn't know what was going on. And actually, John said to me, are there cops in our neighborhood or something? I'm like, what is that? He goes, I hear cops. I'm like, I don't think so, honey. I mean, you're hearing things. It was. It was crazy.
I have a friend in one of those, like, let's say one of those famous kind of tabloid places, whatever. I was texting him. I'm like, what's going on? Can you give me any intel? He's like, his response was like, I don't know what it is, but I'm over it already. It just started.
You know how they can obviously see the helicopters are taking, and I don't know what camera, what television crew it was. I went out back. I'm like, I think I'll grill some steaks. So I'm out grilling steaks, waving. Hi, everybody.
Sending me videos of like helicopters every like 20 minutes. Oh God, it was so funny.
So
But
yeah, so they detained the kids, but they can't arrest the kids. The kids didn't do anything. They just
no,
were living in
no,
his house. Apparently, look, there have been some serious accusations and allegations against
against him.
Puffy
Yeah.
for months now. It started with the guy who was interviewed in the
Is it underage
documentary.
stuff?
Sorry?
Is it underage stuff or
Well,
like,
this is
or
how it
was it?
started.
Or
So this is a totally different accusation, but it
got
started
it.
like P. Diddy started kind of popping up in the news again about a year ago when they were talking about the documentary that was done about Tupac,
Yes.
and that the guy that was
Yes.
interviewed said, I have complete proof that he offered me $1 million to go do this to Tupac, and therefore then the Biggie thing happened, blah, 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 blah. This is
Got
all
it. Okay.
allegations, all accusations. Who
Yes.
knows? People can lie, whatever. All I know is that this had started a year ago about him sort of being in the news. Then somebody else popped up and said, I believe is an ex-girlfriend, Cassie, who's
Yeah.
also an artist, said that he had abused her sexually, physically,
Okay.
and all kinds of things. His lawyer came out very quickly and said, listen, this is just a money grab. These are all false
Sure.
accusations. She's, slinging dirt and mud. However, the next day he settled with her very quietly. I don't know, but if I didn't do anything, all I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, no, I did
Yeah.
nothing. I'm an innocent woman
Exactly.
and I'm not paying
Yeah.
anybody any money. Take me to court and let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Show me the
Again,
proof.
neither one of us know what's going on. Maybe you just thought it was
Yeah.
easier to give her money and just say bye. That's also an option when you're that rich. Okay. Then, very shortly after that, like 3-4 days, another girl came out and another girl came out. And then a guy came out. And then all these people are coming out and talking about abuse in general.
Got it.
Then,
Smoke, there's fire. Yeah.
right. Then somehow, some way, I don't know really the ins and outs of this one, but
Mm.
apparently like 30 years ago, maybe a little less than 30 years ago, there may have been some issues with underage women,
Sure.
and
Okay.
those
Yeah, I
girls
heard that.
came forward as well. Okay, 16-year-old and 17-year-old. Now, Cassie, the girlfriend that they're saying, oh, she's a scorn lover, the one that came out
Yeah.
and made the first accusations. She's the one that brought up the trafficking issues.
God,
And
Jesus. Do you
and I
think it could be
think
something like that?
I don't know, but when you bring up trafficking, that's a
That's like,
serious issue.
that's why you flee the country.
Right. If you bring up
Tax fraud, you
trafficking
don't
to the
flee.
police, you cannot go to police and say, oh, you can say, listen, I was abused, he beat me, he did this to me, whatever.
Yeah.
One person. But when you start bringing up trafficking accusations, that is really, really serious. So
Yeah.
I believe that is why they went in. I don't know how much proof they have. Maybe they're looking for proof. Who
Yeah.
knows? They took his cell phone.
I mean, that's why you would raid. You'd look for all that evidence, right? I mean,
Right. And why
I
do you
think
run?
it could be,
My
but
question is, why do you leave the country?
but trafficking, really? Like, you have everything. You have the whole world, and this is what you do, allegedly or whatever. But I mean, it's just insane.
Stuart,
We'll see what happens.
I think people get, I think
Too
people are
confident?
so wealthy
Yeah.
and they become bored
Yeah.
and they need
Uh-huh.
some sort of, people need a purpose. And
Yeah.
what's that idle hands is the devil's work.
There you go. I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess.
I'm taking you to church this morning, baby.
Oh my God. Well, I was actually going to start on something a bit lighter after that, with your citizenship, but we'll get to that. But while we're on topic of kind of hot topics right now, so last weekend, Debbie, I'm kind of like in the Housewives world because of the cookbook I
You're
wrote and all
obsessed.
that kind of stuff.
I love it.
So
They love
I am
you.
I am a bit obsessed. Look, even though I don't watch all the franchises, I still kind of pay attention to what's going on. So,
It's
and
not.
this one is just funny to me. Well, it's not funny, but the statement is funny from Karen Huger from Potomac. Like, thank you for all your prayers and well wishes during this very frightening experience. I'm in shock from last night's incident. She was in a car crash or she ran into a tree. But like the funniest thing is like I was crying on the way home and saw a car heading right for me. I swerved to avoid the head-on collision, hit a divider, then a tree. I'm hurt, bruised up a bit. So grateful I'm alive. No shit. I would like to stress the importance. Nothing at all. It's just like I was sad, swerved, hit a tree. But
not
like,
taking
you know,
accountability at all.
I was like wasted as well, but we're not going to talk about that.
And by the way, really, a car was swerving towards you. What happened to them? Who
I
were
don't
those
believe
people
that.
that were coming on a head-on collision? They didn't stop.
Just like blaming that, like just blaming her mother's death. It's like, come on, my mother died too. I'm not going to get in the car and get a DUI. You know what I mean? It's like,
You have so many
it's
options these days. It's called
yeah,
Uber. It's called, what's the other one? Lyft. There are a million different people that could give you a ride home. You could call a car service. Again, when you are that wealthy,
yeah.
you don't have an excuse. It's not like you're like, I don't
No,
have money. I can't afford a car. You can afford a car.
yeah.
And I think also people mess up. People do stupid things all
Hmm.
the time.
Totally.
A, a Lyft or an Uber is a lot cheaper than paying for a DUI.
Exactly.
And it's a lot cheaper than trying to fix your reputation now.
But
Because
the thing about it is, it's like, look, Shannon Bedore had one in the Orange County, like God knows, like around September last year. And her first thing was like, I am so sorry. I made a mistake. I did a stupid thing, blah, 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 blah. And she was in kind of like a kind of a tizzy mental state too. She had a fight and all that kind of stuff with her boyfriend and got in the car and whatever. She took accountability. She bettered herself. She went to kind of like a facility for like a month and all that kind of stuff. Like she's straight out the door like, I don't know what happened. I just hit a tree.
I blacked out. You need to take accountability for your
Yeah,
actions. You're a grown woman. Come on. You're not a
I know.
teenager. You should know better than to do that. Look, people do stupid stuff, but you are in the public eye. So when you do
Uh-huh.
stupid stuff, everyone's going to know. And it's going
Yeah.
to be 10 times worse. So I think you have a responsibility,
Yeah.
more of a responsibility than the average citizen, say, to really stay on stay on your toes, cross your
Yeah.
T's, dot your I's,
Mhm.
because there's always somebody there looking to see what you're going to do.
Exactly. Totally agree. And I'd say she'll probably come out with a statement that kind of change it, like, hey, I was this, I was that, I'm so sorry, and so forth. So we'll wait on that and see what happens. I'll
Yeah,
keep
but
you
it's
posted.
always best to lead with love and an apology if you've done something wrong.
Exactly. Because
Like,
here's the thing. At the end of the day, it all goes away anyway,
nobody's
eventually.
going to remember. But you know what?
No.
It's better if you don't try to justify what you have done. Because truthfully, she is so lucky. Thank God she just hit a tree and ruined her
Yeah,
car.
I
Thank
know.
God. What if she had killed someone? What if she ran over someone's kid? What if she killed herself?
Uh-huh.
There's so
Yeah.
many other options that are a million times worse. So you know what? You were so lucky that, oh, you're bruised and battered and
Mhm.
your reputation's a bit like ruined right now.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
But
I'm gonna finish.
then again, does anyone care? Because the
I
housewives
know, I not
are
really, but I just thought the statement was kind of like weird.
the only
But
reason I
yeah,
say that is because the housewives. I don't think people would be like surprised. As far as I know, look,
no.
I don't watch the housewives the way you do. But every time I turn it on or even see a clip, they're all tore up. Everyone is
There's
tore
always
up.
something.
Why do they
Yeah.
drink so much? These people. I think.
Why do you think there's so many podcasts based off them?
I
Because
mean,
there's so much to talk about.
they're wasted. Do they all have to drink?
I don't know. A lot of them are coming off the booze now, I see.
Thank God.
I'm going to put this to bed finally because we found her. We now know where Kate Middleton is. And I need to kind of like roll back something. Last week I was kind of poking fun. I had a Scooby-Doo song, Where's Kate Middleton, etc. I'm kind of sorry for that. She does have cancer. She came out and said it. So I kind of feel a bit shitty about that whole thing. So sorry about that. I'm so sorry she has cancer.
You're not alone.
But I'm glad she's okay and she's doing well and so forth. And but it's like, because of the photograph and the Photoshop and all that stuff, like people were kind of like, they had reason to believe, like, where the hell is she though? You know, but then again, it's like, isn't any of our business either if she's sick? Like, do we really need to know?
She's part of the royal family.
Yeah.
The royal family has been comedic fodder for the world, especially
Sure.
especially the Brits, since
Yeah.
its existence, since the first tabloid came out. That's like part of
Mhm.
why the royal family's there, for entertainment, for the
Yeah.
world, and they know it. They are
Mhm.
fully aware of it. They are part of the machine. So I think, in my opinion, England believes that it is their right to know, because we pay for these people. We have
True.
to know what the
Yes.
heck's going on with them. It is our right to know where our princess is and blah blah. And she's so beloved. And I think with all of the shakedown that happened with what's his toes and Meghan
Mhm.
Markle, come on, what's his name? Harry. Thank you very much.
Harry. Yeah. I mean, I forgot about them. I mean, nobody's thinking about Megan anymore.
But because of all
She
that,
must be so pissed.
she must be so angry. Because
Yeah.
of all that, it's like, people don't really necessarily trust what the royal family is going to say.
No, that's the
And they have
problem.
good reason not to. Fergie was one of the first people to come out and talk about it. Princess Diana was one of the first people to come out and talk about
Yeah,
it. So why should we take anything for face value? They had said
that's the thing.
earlier on, oh, she's going in for a scheduled stomach surgery, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
They got in there. They saw that perhaps they were a little worse than they thought. The
Got
good
it.
news is that the cancer is obviously very early stages because she's doing preventative
Which is
chemo,
great. Yeah.
which is incredible because, a stomach problem, I don't even want to go down that road.
Yeah.
Don't Google.
Yeah.
Because if you look at stomach cancer, it's not a good scene.
Sure.
So I'm just happy that she's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's awful that everybody was coming out and saying all these things, but what did you expect them to do? And you know what?
I
I
know.
love that you're apologizing, and there are all these people that are coming out apologizing.
Sure.
But nobody in the world thought it would be something like this.
No.
Nobody.
No.
And
Especially with Charles and his cancer, we're like, no, there can't be two of them. You know what I mean? It's like crazy.
Nobody thought this would be the case.
And I'm not stirring shit when I say this, but like, if now they're saying on TikTok, I've seen one or two videos, they're saying like, that's not her in the video. And somebody did say something to me yesterday, which kind of made me think of something, and you can tell me what you think about this. I was like, well, maybe it's like her thing. Like, do you think that Prince William should have been beside her on the bench talking, holding her hand? Do you know what I mean? I thought like he kind of should have been there too. Now, I never thought about that until somebody said it to me.
Ding, 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 ding. Let me tell you something.
It's kind of odd.
Don't stew on it. I'm telling you,
not stewing.
You were not wrong. Where was he?
I just thought that was kind of a bit like now I never thought about that.
Neither did I. So
Somebody
you just
like
said
2
it.
days ago.
By the way, he should have been there. I will tell you what.
Yeah.
Stowe would have been sitting next to Meghan Markle. I mean, he's
1,000%.
tugging on her apron. He would be right there beside her the whole time. Why wasn't William there? I will give you that.
I'm not starting conspiracy theories. It's just something that stood out.
Maybe Kate said, this is my thing to tackle. You don't need to be here.
Yeah.
But I believe when you present a united front, it's always a better thing. And I think if William was sitting next to her, holding her hand and saying, listen, this is a very private time. Please respect our privacy during this difficult time. I think that would have put all of that stuff to rest regarding, people were saying, oh, she was getting a facelift or she was doing this or she was doing that. By the way, who cares if she went and got a facelift? Good on you, girl.
Exactly.
Who cares?
I got a hair transplant 2 weeks ago. Who cares?
Did you? It looks great.
Yeah.
You can't tell.
I mean, it's not grown in yet. Yeah, I did 6 months.
Can I ask you?
I always had hair. It was just to thicken it up a bit.
You need a hair transplant? You have
I did preventative. I'm not fucking crazy. Look, I mean, my manager came like, hey, do you want to do a marketing thing with you? And I'm like, I'd love to. I've always wanted to get this done in the crown of my hair.
Oh, wait a minute.
If someone said to you like, hey, we'll give you like, if you do a few Instagram posts, you can do like whatever, would you not do it? Yeah, I'd do it. In a minute.
What? Do they want to do a hair transplant with me too?
So in extensions.
I'm going to get preventative liposuction.
Yeah. Oh God. So I did a little small deep dive. I mean, not really, like 3 posts down. You got your Greek citizenship, which is awesome.
Before we get to that, I still want to finish with Kate.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like she came out, she said her piece. People are like, oh, it's not her. Okay, I don't know why they're saying it's look, there are certain things you do not lie about. Just certain things you don't lie about. You don't lie about someone in your family dying. You don't lie about having cancer. You don't lie about getting a disease. These are things that you're tempting God in the universe to then potentially, make these things happen to you. Like I remember being in high school and, having to write a note, like, trying to sneak one over and be like, well, just say we were at a funeral or say someone in the family's sick and sign my mom's name. I mean, awful. I can't believe I did this. But the truth is that was where I drew the line. My friends would say that. I'd say, no, you don't ever even put it out in the universe.
You want to play with that.
It's sick, someone has passed, don't put it out there. And that's, I think, pretty standard for all cultures across the world. I don't think, look, the royal family maybe hasn't always been completely honest with everyone,
Sure.
or hasn't. We know that. I don't think she would come forth and say she had something as scary as cancer if she didn't have it, because that's like a huge, huge statement.
Sure. But it's like, but it's the truth. And it's like, hey, I'm just like everybody else. This can happen to me too. Like, be careful, get yourself checked out, like whatever it is that follows after that.
Yeah, and they're saying she doesn't look great because she just had a massive surgery. Yeah, she looks thin and feeble and pale. What the hell
Yeah.
is she's gonna
Yeah.
look like? Like a supermodel? She's thick.
That's what they expect. Honestly, that's what they expect. All right. Greek citizenship. How hard was it to get it? Like, was it just a fucking process?
It
Because it
was
was for me for
a
my American
process,
citizenship.
baby. It was a process, but I'm so happy I did it. Stuart, I remember when you got your American citizenship,
Mm.
you announced it on the show. And
I
I'm like,
came on
yeah,
the show.
I
Yeah.
wore an American flag shirt. It was the cutest thing. Okay. So I started this process, when I tell you, not even a joke, like 20 years ago. But I started it because my whole family's Greek. All of them are
Yeah.
Greek, all of them
Yeah.
born in Greece. I'm the first person in my family to be born in America. All of my family still lives there. We have houses there, et cetera, et cetera. Every summer I'm there, growing up since I was 5.
Yeah.
There is not one document in the Greek government with my name on it. So
But like, did your mom not say like, "Hey, I have another daughter, like, and she's
they
Greek,
just
but she's
never
in
thought of
America"?
it.
Like,
So I'd never been documented on any paper in Greece that says I exist. Like, I didn't even exist in the Matenopoulos family in Greece.
you could have been a criminal in Greece, and they would have never found
Well,
you.
that's what I was doing every summer. That's what I was doing there. I committed many.
Criminal activity.
Yes. So they basically first had to make me legally born. Okay. So we had to go through
Yes.
this huge process of going to all the government buildings year after year after year. So I started this like 20 years ago. Then I started working nonstop. So I was like,
Yeah.
whatever. I have no time to be running to all these government places in Greece and here at the embassy in DC, the embassy in New York. I'm like, okay, enough. So my uncle in Greece got that organized. About like
Yeah.
2 years after we started that, 3 years, I finally was like, now, okay, they know I exist. So then after that, then you have to start the process of, now I'd like my citizenship. So you have to apply for all these things, got to go get fingerprinted, blah, blah, blah. Every time it has to happen in Greece. You have to make appointments. You have to, just, it's a lot. So by the time I
Yeah.
would do that, and then maybe if I was working one summer and didn't get a chance to go to Greece, I'd go back and, oh, guess what? My papers have now lapsed. I have to start over.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God. And I got to get signatures again. And I got to get stamps again. And I have to crazy. So finally, about 2 years, actually, my father passed away.
Okay.
I
Sorry
got
to
into
hear
it
that.
again because my mom said, I'm going to tell you something. All this, like the property we have, if something happens, just so you know, nobody is going to give you
Nobody gets it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to figure something out. So I started again. So then in the last 2 years, with the help of my amazing uncle, who I call the Greek Matthew McConaughey because he's constantly shirtless. I mean, the man's 80 years old and a babe.
It's amazing.
He's a babe. I'm like, it's hysterical. I mean, does he own a shirt? Okay. So anyhow, he helped deal with all the legal stuff and all the papers that needed to be signed, et
Uh-huh.
cetera, et cetera. I talked to the head of the embassy here, who also just transferred to be the head or be the Greek ambassador for the United Nations.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
very
wow.
exciting to have him, kind of in my corner. And I just got it like a month ago. And I was so
Amazing.
excited. And I felt like a sense of belonging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was such
No, that's how I felt when like I became American citizen. I just felt like it was such an emotional day for me. I was just
I
like,
got
oh, I
joy.
love this country so much. I love being here. I
Yeah.
made the right decision. I still have my Irish passport and I have my American passport. But it is awesome when you go into your country with your passport.
Yes, I
Like, you know what I
know.
mean?
This
It's
is going
fun.
to be the
Yeah.
first year that I'm going to be able to go, okay, guess what? Now I exist. Now,
And they don't ask you one question. They just let you through.
no, wait, don't you want to ask me what? You don't want to ask me anything? Please do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, oh
Yeah, it
my
was
God.
really exciting. It was a really, really amazing moment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, by the way, I've allowed, because I've done it, if my daughter wants to get her
Yeah.
citizenship, now she can get it, which means it opens up a brand new world for her as she's growing up. If she wants to go
Yeah.
work in the EU, work and live anywhere in the EU, she can.
She can do that. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in November? We might all be flying
We
back.
might all be working and living in the EU.
Not only are you a TV host, a cookbook author, but you're also an actress with a French accent in a Christmas movie. I couldn't believe when I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. Is she giving up the whole Entertainment Tonight TV hosting thing to be acting now?
For your consideration.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to be at the fucking Emmys now going for
I've already sent it to the Oscar.
the Globes.
Yes. So
how was that?
Okay.
Was that fun? Because I did a Christmas movie too. That's why I was like, I have to bring this up with you.
Okay.
Because I'm not an actor, but I did one.
Yes, exactly. I'm not an actor. I just play one in Christmas films, just like you. So I will tell you, first of all, Home and Family there's nothing, everything was Christmas. Christmas,
Yeah.
Christmas all the time. So once a Christmas queen, always a Christmas queen,
Christmas
baby.
queen.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So basically, I have been in the works of doing a new, improved 2.0 Home and Family. It's got a different name. We're moving in the direction. It's happening. It's happening. It's like the little engine that could. It's like moving an iceberg, but it takes a long time to do anything in this business, especially in the last few years, because, our business has been turned upside down. Anyway.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I was like, what am I doing? I should start doing some other things. I don't know. So one of the producers who does all these Christmas movies said, Hey, have you ever wanted to be in a Christmas movie? I was like, I'm not an actor. He's like, you could do it. It's fine. Just come. So I'm like, okay. So I became like the accidental actor. So I said, what am I going to do? What's the character? He's like, oh, you own the hotel. Doesn't bother to tell me I have a French accent.
Yeah.
Says, I hope your passport's up to date because you got to go to Romania in 4 days. I'm like, wait, what?
Amazing.
Okay, because the movie was supposed to be, it's a Paris waltz. It was supposed to be in Paris, but there's a little part of Bucharest that looks exactly like Paris. They call it Little Paris.
So smart. Yeah.
It was so cool. It was so cool. Anyway, so on my way over there, so they send me the script. I've got 4 days to learn this. And I'm in the airport and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I really need to nail this French accent. What am I going to do? Lucky for me, I flew through Switzerland. Now, in Switzerland, they speak Schweizerdeutsch, they speak Swiss, and some people speak French. Okay.
French.
So I walked around the airport during the layover and just was listening to everybody's accent, and I'd turn my phone on and just record it. No, and then finally, in one of those airport stores, I heard somebody speaking with a very thick French accent, and I said, accent, excuse me. And I said, are you French? And she's like, oui. And I said, will you do me a favor? And I took the script and I said, would you read this? Read it.
No.
And I recorded her. Swear to God. And
piss off. Are you serious?
Of the trip, I sat on the plane listening to her and copying her and copying her and copying her.
See, that's how I would have to do it as well. I'm really good at just like repeating what I hear.
And I was like, okay, I can mimic an accent. I just need to hear it. And I wanted to get it right. I didn't want it to be like some, BS accent. So anyway, I got to be honest with you. I was like quite impressed with my French accent skills. My name was Colette, or was it Claudette? Colette or Claudette. I do not remember now, but I owned a hotel in Paris.
That's perfect. Like I would never know the difference. It's great.
And you have to do a little bit of this because this is what the French do.
It's unbelievable when you're put in the hot seat, like what shit you can turn out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You never think you'll be able to do that.
But that separates, the babies from the big dogs, because it's when you're put on the hot seat, whether you can deliver. A lot of people can talk my name until 3, 2, 1, the light's on. Now do it.
Yeah. You just have to just get out of your head and just do it. Exactly.
Yeah,
I remember when I did it, I went with actors upstairs into one of the bedrooms and they ran it with me for like hours, which they were so sweet. Yeah. I still talk to them now that I moved back to Australia, but huge help for me.
Yeah. You just have to get out of your head. If you start being self-conscious, you're screwed. And I think part of it.
And you would never be doing all the television you've done. So you're like, what the fuck? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't. Exactly. And that's another thing though, because for me, it wasn't so serious for me because it's not my bread and butter. Like for me, it's fun. And it's not like, oh my God, if I don't do well in this, I'm not going to get the next movie. I was like, I don't.
Exactly.
So fun. I don't care if I do well or not. I'm going to do the best I can because I want to be good for the director and the producer. Like I want to do the best I can for them. But, I'm also not an actor. So, and I had the best time. And I think I was out of my head also because I got to speak with an accent. So it was not
It's
me at all.
amazing. You don't even think it's you. Yeah. Speaking of movies, the new Anne Hathaway rom-com,
Obsessed.
it's where she's like older, like 40s, and then she gets with like a 25-year-old guy. I can't wait to see it. I'm such a romantic. I saw the trailer. I started crying already.
We'll have to watch it together. I want to see it
Yes.
so bad.
Yes, I'll come over. I'll
We'll
cook. We
podcast
can do an
about it.
Instagram live, and then we'll podcast. Yes. But what it brought up a topic, my friend was telling me about this, and she was like, "You should talk to Debbie about this." And what do you think now? Like the women, like Kristen Cavallari with her 24-year-old. Now you have this movie coming out. Is this like a new trend? But it's been around for a while. Like it's not like a new trend, but it's men can do it. It's nothing is said, but women do it. It's kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah, men have been doing it for years. Please,
Yeah.
it's so embarrassing to go to restaurants in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills and see, I swear to God, men that look like their grandpas with like hot young girls, younger than me and my friends, all hoochied out. Yeah, I'm sure you're with him because you love him. I'm sure of it.
Sure.
I'm sure you're there to take care of him for the rest of it. It has nothing to do with the fact that he drives a Ferrari. Okay. I think they both know what they're getting into there. I think it's an agreement and fine, whatever.
I think like 10 to 15 years is fine. I think when you're into 20s, 30s, 25s, I think that's a lot.
Okay. What's her toes? Olivia Newton-John. She started this years ago.
I love that you say that because you're saying like it's rude to say what's your face, so you say what's your toes. I'm going to start saying that.
Yeah, that's
I never remember anybody's name.
No, and it's so rude to say, "Oh, what's his face?" or "What's her face?"
Yeah,
like, oh, that's so aggressive. But if you say, "What's her toes?" or "What's his toes?" Oh, that's cute.
So good. I love it.
So Olivia Newton-John did it with her boyfriend years ago. Cher has done it a gazillion years. Madonna has done it a gazillion years. Like, J-Lo did it. I think personally, it is more of a stigma in America than it is in the rest of the world. I think people in Europe don't really frown upon it as much as they do here in America. I think, there's a bit of a Anglo-Saxon Protestant thing that goes along with the American idea. And they feel like, oh, no, that shouldn't happen. The man is always supposed to be the leader sort of thing. But I'm okay with it. And my best friend, as a matter of fact, my best friend dated a guy. This was years ago, but dated a guy that was like 12 or 14 years younger than her. And I used to be like, Anne, oh my gosh. He's like, he didn't look that much younger. So it really worked. But then there'd be like a generation thing where he'd be like, what? And we're going, oh my gosh, he has no clue what we're talking about. This is crazy. And he would, want to play Call of Duty all day long. And I'm like, okay, this is enough.
No. See, that's like, no.
Grow up a little bit.
I can't. Like, I'm 42 now.
Yeah.
So like they'd have to be like 35 onwards.
Right. And I also think, women's brains in general mature a lot faster than men's.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a going backwards for the girls. If you're into that, that's fine. I understand physically it's probably a lot hotter than the young hot girl sitting next to the old man at the restaurant in Beverly Hills, like who probably not interested when they get home. But if you're looking at a hot babe who's like 24, like, wow, he's a babe. I mean, Kristen Cavallari's boyfriend, I don't know where she found him, but good on you.
Good for her. And he's hot.
He's
hot. I saw him.
And maybe it's not forever. Therein lies the problem, really. For me, the only issue here is if you get along and you like each other and you vibe, life is too short. I don't care how old you are. If it works for you, let it work. It's none of my business, and who cares if you're enjoying it. The only thing I would say, like a little piece of advice to people, if they're going to go down this road, I think you really have to quickly decide what this relationship is going to be. And is it going to be a relationship? Or is it going to be us just kind of hanging out, Netflix and chill? Because I will tell you what, very quickly you can go from hanging out to then it being serious. And then suddenly here's this young guy with a woman who's about to age out of having babies. And I know that is a huge thing to take away from someone, and even if the guy says, oh, I don't want to have children, whatever, at some point he might. People like to see their spawn. They like to see their DNA, especially men like to see their DNA.
I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Guys like to see their DNA. They want it to be their kid. Do you know what I mean?
Not me.
Well,
I'm good. I'm 42. I've aged out. If I get into a relationship where there's a kid already, I'm like, that's great. It's insta family.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'll look after that kid. Yeah.
Wrong. Guys don't age out. You could always have a kid, even when you're 80. But the girls
No,
can't.
but like I don't want the
The
kid to be
girls
like
can't.
0 and I'm like 42 and it's like, I love like parents that like have their kids. Like I have a friend and I'm like, how old is your kid? And she's like 43, 44 and it's like, oh, the kid's 18. I'm like, that's amazing. Like, cause I'm just like, you can have so much fun with like an 18-year-old when you're 40,
Yeah,
45,
I'll tell you
whatever,
what,
42.
I wish I was like a teen bride. Because after I had all the kids, I realized, oh my gosh, I love kids. I'm like the mom at school that they're like, how old is your mom? She acts like she's in elementary school. I
So
love it.
funny.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I would have had like 10 kids. I would have been like the old woman who lived in a shoe.
Yeah.
I used to make fun of Angelina Jolie and be like, something's massively wrong with that woman. Why would she want 72 children? What's wrong with her? Now,
Because she's
I know.
72 staff to look after them.
Yeah, but you become addicted to it. It's very weird. You get these weird, like these hormones going through you.
Yeah.
And you just want
You only get it if you have them.
Yeah,
basically.
you want every child. It's so cuckoo. It's very weird. But I understand now.
To wrap things up, obviously I have to talk a bit about food. I am a chef. Viral food trends that come and go, in or out. I'm just gonna, because you are like, Debbie wrote a cookbook, everybody. It's all Greek to me. Go to Amazon, go get it. It like did extremely well when it came out.
It really did. It was literally at the top of every, it was Barnes & Noble and Amazon #1 Mediterranean cookbook.
Well done.
I mean, I was blown away. I worked so hard on that. You know how hard it is to write a book. And by the way, I'm trying to do a TV show now, and I want you to come do it with me.
Oh my God.
Travel across Greece.
We'll talk. I mean, I want to hear about that because you were saying something like Greece, me going to Greece for a few days to do something with you. Yeah.
With me.
Big Mac smashed tacos, in or out?
I'm sorry to say this, but I think, and something about that sounds really good.
It's tasty. I've done it. It's tasty. It's really good. Cottage cheese and everything.
I can't anymore. I can't with the texture. I'm done with it.
I
I'm
know.
on the cottage cheese trend. And at one point I took a bite and I said, no, it's over. I can't anymore with the curdle in my mouth.
Okay. You have to put it into a food processor and whip it.
Yeah, I know, but enough of that. We did that with avocados. We did that with sauce.
You're right.
Everything. I'm done.
Italian chopped sandwich. You know where they throw the ingredients on the board and they chop it all together?
I love it.
It's always good. Yeah. Vinegar. You have to have the vinegar and oil.
Yeah. There's nothing better than vinegar and oil. See? That's
some oregano or Greek seasoning. Even
a regular one, an Italian one. It's just a delicious hoagie.
Girl dinner.
Okay.
What's your girl dinner? I had one last night, actually. And it actually is like my kind of girl dinner. And it's so Irish. But anyway,
what is it? I want to know because I had one last night too. And I said, oh, gosh, I can't wait.
I just was like craving it last night. I was like, oh my God, I missed this. Because I will eat late at night and it's like too many calories. I was like, I can't eat that late. So what I got was I had a bowl of cornflakes and milk and some sugar on top.
Cereal's so good.
It's so good. I just love it.
Dinner. Okay, do you know what I had? I thought about you. I said, I can't wait to talk to Stuart tomorrow. Okay. This is so Greek of me.
She's like, keftas. I'm like, what?
It's so Greek of me. Toast with feta, a block.
Toast with feta.
Feta that's in the brine. Okay. You can only get feta in the brine, please, people. Do not get the feta. Feta in the brine, olive oil, and oregano on top. And the toast, just perfect toast. It's, by the way, divine.
So simple. So easy.
And sometimes if I get wild, I'll just cut some tomatoes and put those on top as well. Just little cherry tomatoes. So Greek.
I like that. I really, really like that. Thank you. I want to do that.
It's so good.
I love I used to love like tea and toast with just some Kerrygold butter on it. That'd be also so great too. Debbie,
late at night after being out at the club, I'd have buttered toast.
Exactly. Or grilled cheese. Oh, the best. Debbie, thanks so much for joining me today.
I love you, Stu.
I'm glad we did this. I'm glad I ran into you at the club.
Me too. When I used to be at the club. I mean, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk to you about Greece. I'm going to Ireland in the summer, so we'll figure it out.
The show is it's gonna be based on my cookbook. It's all Greek to me. Okay. I'm working with the Greek
love it.
tourism boards. They're giving us money. The guys over here are giving us money. We're gonna do like a collaboration.
I'm in.
They said to me, "Oh, can we have like your family members join you on each episode?" And I said, "The members are friends." So guess what? You're already going to be in Ireland this summer. You're going to come over and we're going to do an episode.
We'll figure it out.
And you're a chef. It makes sense.
I know. And we're friends. And we're great TV. Yeah.
I love you, Stuart.
Love you. I'll see you soon. All right.
See you soon, baby. I'm going to go check and see if there are any helicopters.
They're probably still there.
Puffy's house. I'll let you know.
Bye.
Bye, babe.